Her mother had already packed the car. A house in Ruwa emptied out over a single weekend in the autumn of 1994. She'd tell people it was a job in Canada, but Emily was 11, and Emily had drawn something 3 weeks earlier, and her mother looked at that drawing and got her daughter away from that school. Emily never stopped drawing it. The same two black eyes for 30 years until she died in 2024. The family crossed an ocean. The field came with her. Let's start with what we know. September 16th, 1994. The Ariel School near Ruwa, Zimbabwe. Ariel School, 12 miles east of Harare. Mid-morning break, teachers all inside at a staff meeting. 62 children, aged 6 to 12, said something came down out of the sky. A silver object landed in a field of scrub beyond the fence, and a small figure in a black suit walked along the top of it while they watched, and moved, in their words, wrong. Not fast, not slow, wrong. That's not the detail someone invents. That's the detail someone remembers. Yes, a Soviet rocket booster had re-entered over southern Africa 2 nights before. Millions saw it. So the air was thick with talk of lights, and impressionable kids could have run with it. Fair. But a nighttime streak of fire is not a craft that lands in a specific field at 10 in the morning, in daylight, and sits there. The first investigator wasn't American. It was BBC correspondent Tim Leach, who'd covered wars. After his time at that school, he said something I can't shake. He said he could handle war zones, but he could not handle this. Then, Cynthia Hind, Southern Africa's leading researcher, separated the children into small groups and had them draw. The pictures matched. A disc, a dark figure, 2 enormous black eyes. And these weren't American kids raised on Spielberg. Rural Zimbabwe hadn't sold them the almond-eyed gray. They drew it anyway. And then the American, John Mack, not a fringe man, a tenured Harvard professor of psychiatry, Pulitzer winner, who flew 8,000 miles to interview them. Here's the honest problem. The famous telepathic message, the environmental warning, shows up strongly in Mack's interviews and faintly in the earlier ones. Mack was an environmentalist. Skeptics say he led them. Fair again. But strip Mack out entirely. You're still left with 62 children, a war reporter who came away shaken, a stack of matching drawings, and one detail Mack never touched. The silence. Child after child described sound switching off at the source, the birds going quiet, footsteps making no noise. That wrong silence turns up in serious cases for decades. Betty and Barney Hill, Travis Walton, Pascagoula, in witnesses who never met. These kids had read none of it. The record is thinning now. Hind died in 2000, Mack in 2004, Emily in 2024. The witnesses are becoming a closed file. And Mack's original footage, the most documented mass sighting of the modern era, was nearly impossible to track down for the 2022 documentary. It gets transferred. The master goes missing. The label falls off the box. I don't know what landed in that field, but it doesn't look like the pattern of a lie. Lies are smooth. This is jagged. This looks like a secret. 62 children. 1 field, the same 2 eyes.